Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today I've got some good news and some bad news in regards to the unconstitutional California handgun roster. Now if you want to know what both the good and bad news are, stay tuned. This video is sponsored by NorthTac Optics. In my opinion, the best value-based optics that you're going to find on the market today. If you are looking for something that is high quality and good value, this is where I would steer you. NorthTac Optics are built tough. I've been using them for about 5 months now. They have incredible battery life, super clear lenses, and they have some features that other more expensive optics don't even have. Some of these features on the NorthTac Optics are electronic programming, motion sensor activation, adjustable off timer, solid construction design. These are built tough. 1/2 MOA click values, 12 brightness settings, so it gets very dim and very bright. Removable kill flashes, has a really nice black anodized finish, lens covers, and one thing that you don't get out of most optics manufacturers these days, a 100% lifetime guarantee. So if you're on a budget but you don't want a budget optic, check out NorthTac. I'll put more information down below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the bad news out of the way first. So we're talking about Boland V Bonta, which is the case that challenges California's handgun roster, or the UHA, the Unsafe Handgun Act. A judge in that case found that parts of the roster are in fact unconstitutional. The parts that he found unconstitutional are going to be the requirements that are needed in order to get on that roster. So microstamping, loaded chamber indicator, magazine disconnect, things like that make it impossible to get on the roster. So nothing new was coming into California, making the roster basically a de facto ban in that state. And so rightly so, the judge saw that that was what was going on and he found it unconstitutional, and he placed an injunction on enforcement of those specific requirements. Now immediately he also placed a stay on those requirements, basically giving California some time to appeal. Now they didn't seem to appeal right away, but sure enough, California eventually did appeal. So they appealed this case and they said that this would basically cause a flood of new manufacturers to get on that list, and it would cause undue harm to the state of California and all the safe stuff that they're trying to do over there. I'll read you guys real quick something from the Attorney General's office. This is actually directly from the statement from the Attorney General. Now, this is just a portion of the statement from the Attorney General. There's a lot more to this statement. If you guys want to read it all to see exactly what California is saying about their appeal, I will link that down below. But interestingly, it says here, DOJ is filing an appeal to overturn the district court's preliminary injunction and filing an emergency motion to stay or halt the portions of the order that would ban enforcement of the UHA's requirements that semi-automatic pistols for retail sale have a chamber-loaded indicator and a magazine disconnect mechanism. This motion does not seek to immediately stop the part of the court's decision enjoining the microstamping requirement. Now, I'm sure you guys heard that last part right there where California said that they're not going to appeal the judge's decision on microstamping. They're still going to appeal the magazine disconnect and the loaded chamber indicator, but for some reason, microstamping was left out. And why is that? Well, because it's impossible. Asking somebody for microstamping to get on that roster is like asking for every single manufacturer to provide a giant pink elephant. It does not exist. You cannot get one, and it is 100% completely unrealistic. It is the crux of this case. This is what California understands. They know that they are fighting a losing battle here, and that maybe if we just pick and choose the parts that we want to appeal and let the other parts go, maybe that's going to work out in our favor. But it's not. Even if they get the appeal, and the appeal is granted, and the injunction is stayed on those two parts, the magazine disconnect and the loaded chamber indicator, if the appeal is granted on just those two parts, they still have to attend to that microstamping. That does not simply take it away from this case. This is the good news moving forward. It shows California's hand. California is basically saying, look, we know that this is basically unforceable. We know that because of the microstamping, it puts a freeze on things, and we know that nothing new is able to get on because microstamping doesn't exist. And so we're not necessarily going to fight that part of it right now. But this isn't a buffet. This isn't a pick or choose type of lawsuit. No, this lawsuit goes after everything. So it's going after the microstamping, the loaded chamber indicator. It's going after all of those things. And simply not asking for an appeal against the microstamping does not make it go away. So this is just a game. It's just a ploy by California to try and get something done on their side. So they asked for an emergency appeal. That's the bad news. California, again, is using state interest in order to try and say that this is somehow constitutional. They're trying to say that if we don't do this, there's going to be a flood of manufacturers. They even say thousands of manufacturers that would be allowed to be on that list. So that approved list would grow exponentially, and they know that. They don't want it. And so they're trying to say that because of that, we need to stop it. It's against state interest. But because of Bruin, we know that state interest doesn't work anymore. Your state interest doesn't matter at all. What matters is text, history, and tradition. So again, California is showing their hand. They're letting microstamp be enjoined. And this is, while it's bad news, it's also good news. So we're in this for the long run, right? We're in this to finish it, to end it. So whether it goes to the Ninth Circuit or it goes to the Supreme Court, wherever it goes, we're going to stay on top of it. And people that are fighting this, you know, they're in it for the long haul as well. I can guarantee that. So good job on them. Good job on everybody that's involved in this case for doing what you're doing, all the hard work and all the time that you put in. Make sure that you guys support the groups that support you. That's also one very important thing, because a lot of these groups are funded by people like us. So again, good job for them. So I wanted to give you guys that news. It's not all that great, but still it's something. So I want to thank you all very much for watching again. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.